so call your wheel. Spin the wheel, then break the seal. A support we won't conceal. Feel the truth, you know the deal. They can't silence what we say. We're the voice of the USA. Stand your ground, make them pay. A support leads the way. Clouds of lies hanging low. A supports truth, let it flow. Shouting loud, every show. Truth in the news they can't control. Fearless warriors in the fray. Flame of freedom bright as day. Cut through noise, clear the gray. A support, we're here to stay. They can't silence what we say. We're the voice of the USA. Stand your ground, make them pay. A support leads the way. Clouds of lies hanging low. Ace reports truth, let it blow. Shouting loud, every show. Truth in the news they can't control. They can't silence what we say. We're the voice of the USA. Stand your ground, make them pay. Ace report leads the way. Leads the war, leads the way. Leads the way. Clouds of lies hanging low. Ace the way. Leads the way.
And here we go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ace Report Weekend Catch-Up. Holy smokes. I thought about taking tonight off because it was a busy weekend for old Ace here, but there's just too much to talk about. So I got to it. We're going to knock this out. This is going to be a shorter live. I'm going to aim for about half an hour, but I got 3 major bits of news I want to cover, including what's going on with this whole Pam Bondi thing and my thoughts. Zelensky, this conspiracy, apparently, well, we'll talk about it in a minute, but let's just say some old familiar faces we don't like are trying to steer him astray with this whole Trump stuff. And then Trump blasting crypto to the moon with this strategic reserve news. But first, let's talk to everybody in the chat and say, what's up? Gary Dush, number 1 tonight. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Welcome. Glad you made it. Cass Sync 2, BN Pro Trace, Joe Scarpazza, Lyrical, Frankie S, Toe Cramp, Darren, Vince, Zach, Candace, Brian, Ricky Brogan. What's going on? Dar Daddy, Chad C, Marco, CJ, Yukon, Frank Catastagio, Just Mike, Charlie Max, Stella Artois, Alan, what's up? Marco, it's the Sunday night special, baby. Juan Alvaredo, what's up? Tucker, Ricky Brogan, Suljo. It's been a bit, man. How you doing? Auto Mags, our Will Allende. You like my intro? Thank you. I appreciate that. You say it kicks ass. I'll take it. I will take it. I will. Thank you. I appreciate that. Zach, pump the likes. Thank you. Like and subscribe. We're going to get into it here, and I hope you like what you're going to see if you're new here. Scott Volkovitz, Ricky Brogan, and XRP is looking tasty. It's all looking tasty, my friends. It really is. So why don't we start there? I wasn't going to, but you know what? Since it's already being talked about, we're just going to jump right into that. So Trump, we all knew this was coming. But he finally did it. He blasted it out today. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, Solana, and ADA. I will make sure the U.S. is a crypto capital of the world we're making America great again. And then he followed this up with a tweet saying, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum will be in there as well. I love them both, which I thought was funny how he did it. But of course, it made sense that he would add those two. And once he did that, now this is going to be a little misleading because it just changed. But right now, crypto's gone red again. But when it first blasted, Bitcoin was down around 84, 85,000, blasted up to 94 again almost. Ethereum, they all ran. XRP was down to like in the two teens, 220s, ripped up. I think it hit 290 at one point. He re-strengthened crypto. Let's say he just gave it a shot in the arm it desperately needed after the last few weeks. And what I'm looking forward on this is I think this is going to be the beginning of him starting to look at the markets. I don't know if you guys caught it the other day, but the Atlanta Fed changed their Q1 projections from 2.3% growth to negative 1.5% decline, which means we are starting to officially enter recession. We're right at the beginning of it. They won't call it till it's 2 quarters, but that's official. And it's exactly what we said was going to happen. They are rug pulling this economy now that Trump's in, which was to be expected. Now we're ready for it. But what I see Trump doing here is he's giving the people ways out. Not that they're going to avoid pain in the short term, but he's allowing people to get into investments, into assets that will carry them through the tough times and then blow up on the other side of it. That, I believe, is part of what he's doing here. He's also fulfilling campaign promises, especially to the crypto bros, the libertarians, and also this is the beginning of him really pulling away from, we've had centralized currency for, ever since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, we've had centralized currency that we have not moved away from. Before that, back in the old days, it was normal to have different currencies across states, and we just kind of figured it out. You transfer at the bank, whatever. Now we've had centralized currency. This decentralizes our currency because we now have an official stamp of approval from the US government that not one, not two, several crypto are now deemed valuable as assets and can be used as currency. That's massive. That's massive because what it's going to do is it's going to allow way more people to come in now, use it, feel validated in using it, feel confident in using it. And it also forces stuff like the SEC to lay off on these judgments. We're just going to let it happen now. This is an exciting time if you have more of a freedom, libertarian bent, and also if you're big on crypto in general, even just as an investment. Very exciting, and it's awesome that Trump did this. So looking forward, it looks like it's truly the time to start getting in. Now, crypto is still going to go up and down, just like currency, especially these next few months as it kind of finds its way through. So maybe after this jump, crypto goes back down. I have no idea what to expect. But what I can tell you is long term, in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I think we're close to the low of where crypto is going to be. So if that means Bitcoin is going to be 90 right now and it doesn't go below that, or if it goes down to 60 and it bottoms there, I don't know. But whatever that is, this time period for the next 6 months to a year, I think is the best time to jump in. And I really think it's going to be in this 6-month period. Now, that is just an estimation, my point. But guys, we have this administration. This is the beginning of this administration. This is only month 2. He's already put the stamp of approval on it. So we know that at least for the next 4 years, we definitely are going to have major reasons to expect crypto to do huge things. And in fact, I'm going to pull up something I actually wasn't going to pull up just to add something interesting here. If I can find it, where is it? Oh, here we go. So Atlas Intel did a poll today. And if you guys think it's going to be only 4 years, well, I'm here to tell you that we might actually, JD Vance is already just crushing it in polling. And unless he has some major mistake or scandal, this man will be the next president. Look at this. Atlas Intel, which was the most accurate pollster of 2024 and 2020. They are amazing. Atlas Intel just crushes it. They did a poll, Vance versus Newsom, and Vance is ahead of Newsom by 20 points. 20 points. And Newsom's one of the most popular Democrats on their side. So if that doesn't tell you that they don't have anybody right now, that they're in trouble, even 4 years ahead, I mean, that's massive, guys. That's massive. And JD's smooth. I think he'll only get more people liking him as he goes. So, so crypto is just in the best place it's ever been. It really is. And if you were already in crypto, awesome, like big, you've had a good year, but I think it's really about to take off. Dar Daddy asks, can Trump be vice president? Yes, he could be. Trump is technically constitutionally legal for 2 more years of the presidency if he ran again, or if he got installed. He can't technically win another election, but he could be president for 2 more years, which would mean that he probably is eligible to be vice president if he wanted, says asked in the chat. Matt M says Trump should have called out market fraud before calling out crypto. You know, you say that. I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true. There's a lot of second guessing of Trump right now. And all I'm going to say is that Trump continually proves himself to actually know better than the rest of us. So I'm going to trust Trump on this one. I know we all want what we want, but you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. This administration is already doing way more than any administration I've ever seen. Trump has continually done nothing but win, whether it's the elections, you know, even in 2020, we all know what happened. Okay. The man just, he knows how to win. He knows how to pick winners and he knows how to get stuff done. I trust Trump's gut instincts. I do. And I think the market stuff, he's building towards it. I think it'll come when it comes and it'll be the perfect time for it. I really do. So, Asia and Europe selling Bitcoin, Bloomberg saying 70,000 coming. So maybe there's a sell off after this and then it bounces. All I know is that with America taking it on as a reserve and actually pouring our government money into it and building it as an asset for our government, I can tell you right there that that means it's going to be huge soon. It's just the fact. It's just the facts. It really is. Mad Max says Trump has to be very successful to give JD a big head start in 2020. Well, I mean, look where we're already at. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think Trump's going to have the most transformative, best 4 years of any president of our lifetimes. I don't think it's even going to be close. XRP is going to be huge. It will be. I don't know if it's going to be 1,000, 10,000 huge like a lot of people are predicting, but you know, it's going to be big. It's going to be big, much bigger than it is now. I can tell you that. All right, let's move on to the next story. As this is pretty crazy. So we covered the Trump Zelensky fight the other day, and that was obviously a massive deal. But then this is coming out this weekend. So, you know, it's kind of shocking how Zelensky stood up to JD and Trump and acted a fool in front of them, arrogantly trying to control the conversation, arrogantly trying to renegotiate the deal, talking smack to JD to his face, threatening Trump and JD in our whole country with this, oh, well, it'll come to your side soon if you're not careful. I mean, unbelievable. Just disgusting. And so now we find out before this meeting, he met with Obama's team. Susan Rice, a bunch of other Democrats, Senator Chris Murphy from Connecticut is a total douchebag. He met with these people and they told him, they gave him the advice to be go in very strong and demand the deal the way they wanted it. Why? It's obvious why. He came in wanting mineral security, which means that we guarantee that if we get their minerals, we guarantee that we will protect Ukraine, which means we're basically signing up a deal that would say, oh yeah, we're willing to put our troops there to protect you. They wanted that. Why? Because they want to keep that ball rolling. They want to keep the war going. That is their honeypot, especially now with US aid gone and all these other places gone. They're losing their money. Ukraine is one of the last places they still have to launder money to all these crooked people across the world, all the crooked world leaders, all the crooked Democrats. It's wild. Okay. So it says disaster in the Oval Office, Dems lead Zelensky, Ukraine off a cliff with pressure to reject mineral deal. And this is also, this is you could argue this is treason. You really could. I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch because you got to put a little more burden of proof on there. It needs to be a little more egregious, but I'm telling you, like, this is our own people, leaders in the opposition party meeting with a foreign leader trying to take advantage of our country. That is as disgusting as it gets. And this, my friends, is part of what's so beautiful about this, because it went wrong. It obviously didn't go the way they thought it was going to go. Okay, Trump just smacked him. Zelensky was too stupid to pull it off. So it doesn't go the way they thought it would go. And now, not only is the country just completely turning on Zelensky in a big way. If you see the poll numbers from a year ago, 2 years ago to now, it's insane how much our country has turned away from Zelensky in Ukraine. It's massive. Well, now with all this news coming out, it's just going to make the Dems look worse and expose them more, which is win-win all around, right, guys? We're getting out of Ukraine. And then we make this other party look bad. I mean, it just couldn't work better. It really couldn't. And right here, it says, yesterday, Susan Rice of the Trump-Zelensky meeting, there's no question this was a setup. She revealed full knowledge of the mineral agreement, complained it didn't include concrete security agreements, and then mischaracterized Trump's behavior. You can look at this and dismiss it as Democrat chopping points. But anyways, she goes down and says, I think, this is, by the way, Molly Hemingway does great work. Says, I think their goal is to have a wonderful performance by Zelensky and angry Trump's appearing to scuttle the deal. Support of the neocon portion of the GOP start applying pressure on Trump to have U.S. troop commitments as part of the security guarantee. It was a setup, and Susan Rice's interesting choice of words. By the way, Susan Rice is scumbag of scumbags, by the way. She was in the Obama administration, the Biden administration. She's a total scumbag. Indeed, instead, Zelensky had one of the worst stage performances of his acting career. Trump was statesmanlike throughout. He followed Team Obama's advice to be hostile to a T, didn't land how they thought it would. And then it turned Lindsey Graham. Basically, it was like they were hoping they could get the neocons pissed off, and then half the Republican Party, or a strong portion of the party, would turn against Trump. And it completely backfired on them. And now the neocons are starting to say, let's get out of Ukraine. This looks terrible for us. I mean, it's unbelievable. They were trying to set up Trump. They thought that it would, if Zelensky just did it right and he acted cordial and nice and they got Trump mad, it would look like Trump was the one being a jerk, and it blew up in their face. Tom Luongo, who I love and I just feel like really has a good grasp on what's going on right here, says, Molly's directly on point here. Expect Obama and Davos, which is World Economic Forum, to go full throttle against him from here. Their need for the U.S. to back their war play is deep, and they won't give up until we break them. Epstein files fiasco is your proof there's an anti-government within the government. They need to be outed, fired, and hung for treason. And I can't agree more. These people they're going against our own country. They're going against our own president. It's disgusting. And we got to hope that the exposure keeps coming so it leads to big deals. And Dar Daddy writes, rumors Zelensky signed mineral deal with Ukraine. Yes, that's true. With the UK. UK did sign a major deal with Ukraine. I don't know all the details yet. I haven't had time to look into it, but they did, and all of Europe is rushing now to give Ukraine a bunch of money and do stuff, and which is funny because it will bankrupt them. And meanwhile, we have Zelensky talking to him, saying all this big stuff, and then he's out there saying all of a sudden, like, let's get back to the table. I'll take the deal. Let's see if actually Trump falls for it. I don't know if he will. I really don't. Logan Act violation, as Mike, absolutely. All roads lead to Obama. They really do. When it comes to the corruption and the destruction of our country, I agree. Johnny Strayhorn says, Dems weren't the only ones in that meeting. I'm sure it wasn't. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate that. Alan says Great Britain is sending boots on the ground. Yes, that is a big part of what they said. In fact, I believe they're this close to trying to. Now, they want to commit NATO troops. That's what they want to do, but they can't because the US still controls the vast majority of NATO's budget and troops. So you can't do it unless you just directly go against the US, which if they do, if they commit NATO troops or try to, that will give the US the opportunity to pull out of NATO, and then NATO will collapse on itself. So this is getting very, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, there was GTI news. I covered it a little bit on Friday, Whitey. It's very good news. Yeah, they signed with that merger. The judge awarded it to him. 47 did revoke Rice's security clearance. That's right. He did. Yeah. So Kassink says, is it true Putin wants to make deal with Trump with Russia, their military? He mentioned it. I don't know if it's official, but he threw it out there. Yeah. So stuff's getting really interesting. Norway won't fuel U.S. airships. It's insane. Listen, we're really in a soft war with globalists. We really are, with the World Economic Forum, with Davos, as Tom Luongo calls it. We are in a soft war with them. That's who Trump's really truly at war with, the deep state. It goes from them, the globalists, who are all these world leaders, George Soros, you name it, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds in deep, deep backgrounds. We're at war with all that. That is actually our biggest enemy. And then our deep state here, which is an extension of that, which is our CIA, FBI, NSA. That's who Trump's really at war with. That's who really is trying to take away our freedoms. They are the ones that keep the wars going, keep the war machine rolling, get the funding on, the crooked stuff, and they are the real sinister people. And it doesn't mean that China's perfect. It doesn't mean that Russia's perfect, any of that. It doesn't. But the greatest enemy, just as Trump's always said, is from within. And that's what he's talking about. And we're seeing it play out in real time now. It went from behind the scenes, and this is like such a major thing that happened with Zelensky and everything, that it's bringing it all up to the surface, which is good. We want this to happen. We want the exposure to happen. We want them to show their cards over and over and over again, because it allows Trump to call them out. It allows us to make drastic moves, like pulling out of NATO eventually, pulling out of the UN maybe. Get out of these corrupt systems that have taken advantage of us for decades, almost a century now. Get out. Make our country as great as it can be again, and then we can decide what, if anything, we want to do to help others, but it'll be on our own terms from now on. We will no longer be a part of all this nonsense, okay? So this is where we're at, and this is very good, and it's crazy. We've never seen this before. Not in our lifetimes. I mean, this is world politics at a level that, honestly, it's in America's history, has probably never happened in our full history. We've never had something like this where we're decoupling, except for the Revolutionary War, the original one, where we're actually decoupling from Europe, from the rest of the world, from Five Eyes, all this stuff, to become fully our own nation again, to get rid of all the globalism, all the ways we just are abused by the rest of the world. We're funding the rest of the world. We're taking care of them. We're cleaning their diapers, wiping their butts. Like, we've done everything at the expense of our own people, at the expense of our own infrastructure. And that time's over. And now this is what's going to play out. And it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. I don't believe it's going to escalate into hot wars. I don't think we're going to get major false flag events. We might have some smaller ones. I don't think so. I think God's going to protect us, and the Trump administration knows what it's doing. So I think that combination. But I think we need to be prepared to see things go wild in ways we never expected. And Europe, if Europe continues on this path, it will collapse. We will see full-on economic ruin in Europe. And they're going to have to completely rebuild themselves. It'll be like the entirety of Europe will be like what happened to Greece back in like 2012. So this is what's coming. Buckle up. It's going to get wild, especially if I believe what I believe is about to happens, which is the economy crashes. That's going to be a big part of it. Okay. So just buckle up because it's going to be a fun ride. Now, I will say this last bit before I move on to the Pam Bondi thing. I got this nose itch and I'm like, it probably looks like I'm like Zelensky, like got a cocaine problem or something. I just have an itch and I just won't go away. I don't know why. I've never done coke in my life, by the way. I feel like I need to set that out there. I don't know why I went there. I'm sorry. What I was going to say is that, one of the things I think this is showing us too, and this is one of the reasons the left and the media are going bonkers and the rest of the world's going bonkers, world leaders. Trump and Vance showed the world how confident they are in our strength. And I truly believe that our situation where Trump's at and what they've come in with this plan and with the people they really have working behind the scenes, trust me, there's way more people on our side working behind the scenes right now than in front of it. That's how you do it. That's how you really win these things. Trump and Vance are the front, and then there's others, obviously, who are part of it. But that's how you win, is you have the people behind the scenes doing the work. I believe we're actually much, much stronger in our position than many have been led to believe, than many have feared to believe. I really do. I think Trump has all of this just ready to go. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think JD Vance knows what he's doing. Kash Patel, you name it, like top to bottom. I think they are unified, and I think they have a plan, and I think it's working. And that's why they're freaking out. They are pulling off one of the most impossible things that's ever been pulled off. And I'm watching it in real time working. They are slowly dismantling the deep state. And slowly, fast to everybody else. And it feels slow to some people. They are dismantling the deep state before our eyes this time, globally and domestically. And they're doing it in a way where their approval ratings and the people like what they're seeing. It's brilliant, and it's the only way to see it all the way through, because the only way you can fully defeat this enemy is to make sure the people are on your side the whole time. It's the only way to do it. And they are pulling it off. It's incredible. Michael Anthony asked, did Friday data show the U.S. in early stage recession? It did. Yep. It's really bad. Bruce Hyman asked, deep state not going down without a fight. Euroland, let your citizens vote for war. Oh yeah, first need free speech. That's very true. It is very true. Queen was keeping a lid on Europe, says Just Mike. It's possible. Yeah, it is possible. Brett says, I know you've not done cocaine in your life, but Hunter Biden has. Allegedly. That's awesome. Heidi, I'm going to talk about Pam Bondi in just a moment, so do not worry about that. They're working on the Epstein stuff. I really, truly believe that. Okay, so check this out. Brett says, please like and subscribe. Yes, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. All right, let's talk about Pam Bondi. Oh, actually, I had one more thing on Zelensky first. This little snake. One more thing. And I'll just cover this real quick. But Zelensky in this clip right here, I'm not even going to play it. I'm just going to talk about it. But he says, if Ukraine gets NATO, then he fulfilled his mission. Isn't that interesting? Fulfilling the mission is getting into NATO. Why? Because once you're in NATO, that means that Russia officially attacked all of Europe and America, because we're an alliance. That's why it's the mission. So if Russia attacks NATO, then it's officially World War III. And that, he let the cat out of the bag right there. So again, very interesting stuff. You can watch this clip on my X timeline if you want. All right, let's get into Pam Bondi and Epstein. And Mike, I'm going to talk about the Elon interview in a second with that. In fact, I played the clip on Friday. And so, but I'm going to mention how it ties in. Okay. This is an excellent thread. And I truly believe this is actually what is going on. So a lot of people this weekend are very upset with Pam Bondi over what happened. Now we talked it through Thursday night, and now Friday was when they were supposed to get the rest of the documents, and they haven't said anything. And so people are pissed. And, rightfully so to some extent. I really do. This is kind of what I think's going on is more next level, and I think that's hard for people to grasp. They want their stuff now. There's a microwave generation. We stream our TV, we watch whatever we want. We make our food fast. And yeah, that's where we're at. So people are, very upset about this, and it's okay. I get it. But the where I draw the line, and where I just do not think it's even close to being able to go there, is that Pam Bondi is somehow subverting Trump. I just don't see it. I did a deep dive research on her again today, and guys, her background is just too perfect for this role, for me to think she's against Trump in any way. I do not think she's a neocon. I do not. I think she's all in. Her track record on the way she fought sex trafficking is just too strong. I'm sorry. I do not think this woman is okay with letting this slide. So what could really be going on? Well, I made a point to a friend today who is bringing some of this stuff to me. And I told him, I said, listen, I get where you're getting all your info. Laura Loomer, some others are really going after Bondi. And I told him, I said, but the problem for me is that the people I trust the most, that I get most my news from when I need to verify stuff, when there's a lot of flack going back and forth, a lot of noise, the people who always seem to be right for me, they aren't turning on Bondi. And that tells me something. That tells me that, because usually these people are in the know. And so I found somebody sent me this thread today, and I read it and I thought it was so perfect. So I'm just going to read this real quick. The Bondi takedown, a deep state operation to isolate Trump and protect the Epstein cover-up. The coordinated attack on AG Pam Bondi, undermining Trump's inner circle. The deep state controlled opposition, social media influencers know they can't survive attacking Trump directly, so they go after his inner circle instead. We've seen this playbook used before against Michael Flynn, and now the target's AG Bondi. Critical difference between legitimate scrutiny of public officials and strategic, limited information campaign designed to force resignations. The current X social media operation is not about real transparency. It's a psychological manipulation campaign meant to weaken Trump's closest allies before midterms as the information battle intensifies. Guys, this is spot on. Now, whether you agree it's going on with Bondi or not, that's fine. I personally think it is. But whether you agree with that or not, you cannot deny the fact that this happens. It truly does. And it does happen with a lot of so-called conservative influencers. A lot of so-called conservative influencers are bought and paid for. They are. And who they're bought and paid for, it varies, but they are. And then other ones get caught up in the nonsense. They're human. They're human. They don't have insider ties. They don't really understand what's going on, but they're always skeptical. And so they choose to jump on the train that's always skeptical no matter what. And that's where they lean to. That's where, so they might be good, but they also just tend to always be pessimistic. So they always jump on the wrong train. This is why it's so hard to get the news right. It's so hard to really understand what's going on unless you've been following it a long time. You realize what these people are doing. You've seen the proof over and over and over again. And so you know who to trust. I can tell you right now, I fully trust President Trump. I fully trust JD Vance. I fully trust Kash Patel. Bondi, I fully trust. I'm just telling you, I've seen the track records. I've been there along the way. I fully trust Marco Rubio now. And look what he's doing. I trusted him before most everybody did. I said, this guy has followed Trump. He changed. A lot of people didn't believe me. Look what he's doing now. The man is full on going after Zelensky, trying to end this war. He's been awesome. Okay. Rubio's been amazing. And this is why. It's because I know the right people to trust. It's not because I have inside information. It's just because I've done my homework and I've been in the battle long enough now to know these things, to understand. Sometimes I still get it wrong. I'm not perfect. Nobody is, because there's a lot of information warfare going on nonstop. Could I end up being wrong about Bondi? It's possible. I really don't think I will be, though. And this is why. Let's keep going on. Why Bondi? What's the real threat? Pam Bondi's role goes far beyond politics. She made a significant move, not only for Kash Patel and Trump, but for the entire truth-seeking movement. Her actions just validated years of suppressed investigations, many dismissed as conspiracy theories, proving that the FBI and SDNY actively concealed evidence in the Epstein case. What other cases? Anthony Weiner laptop cover-up is real. A device containing explosive files, including a folder titled Life Insurance, will not be discovered by Kash when he does this internal investigation. You guys, some of you guys know what that one's all about, and I'm not going to go into it because it's horrific. Police officers who reportedly viewed the contents of Weiner's laptop mysteriously committed suicide. This is true. Huma Abedin's connection to Weiner ties straight to Hillary Clinton, the most disturbing talk of all. I'm not going to get into that. Bondi publicly named those responsible for concealing his information and, more importantly, gave Kash the top cover he needs to make unprecedented moves that could expose the deepest, darkest crimes of the elite. Why Deep State needs Bondi removed now? Bondi's actions didn't just expose cover-up. They threatened the power structure protecting it. They threatened the Epstein blackmail network that leads to Israeli intelligence operations targeting U.S. elites. If Bondi stays in position, Patel can move forward with legal actions that could unravel decades of government corruption. Removing Bondi weakens Patel, and if they take Patel down next, Trump loses his strongest legal warrior. I completely agree with this, by the way. Kash is the guy, but they were never going to be able to get him into AG. Okay? They were never going to be able to do it. So this, though, is, I do believe, guys, you got to remember, after all this time, okay, after all they've prepared for coming into this, our guys are running operations just like they're running operations on us. You cannot beat them by playing the game out in front of everybody. You can't do it. You just can't do it. It's too complex. It's too disgusting. And it's too embedded. You have to play the game. And our team came up with a strategy. I truly believe this. Kash Patel is the best person to do all this. He is. What happened? He can't get the AG role. It's too big. It just wasn't going to happen. But it's even better they got him in the FBI. Why? Because the FBI director position has a 10-year life cycle. He's now FBI director for 10 years minimum, unless the president comes in and tries to fire him, which is actually very difficult to do because it's a Senate confirmed position. The way we got Kash was because Chris Wray resigned, remember? It wasn't because they were due for a new FBI director. So this is a big deal. Now, I think the Epstein thing is just the beginning of this. I think there are moves on moves on moves here, guys. And I want to see those Epstein files just as much as anybody. I really do. I really do. But you don't blast something out there if it's not going to help you as much as it could help you by holding the cards. You're just not. And you guys got to ask yourselves, you really do. Do you guys just want that? And I'm not talking to anybody specific. I'm just saying in general with the public. Do we want just that cocaine high of getting big names out there on Epstein and just doing that, but then all of a sudden all that leverage is gone and so we don't get to unwind the whole operation? Would we want to risk that just so we can get our shot in the our shot of adrenaline? I don't. I want this thing to be fully seen through. And I've seen nothing in the Trump administration in these first 6 weeks that tells me it's not going to happen. And it drives me nuts that people still doubt that this is going to happen when we've seen more action these first 6 weeks than we ever could have dreamed happening. I just don't. This, as crazy as all this sounds, it seems much more plausible to me than actually trying to believe that Trump and them are not going to see this through. You guys, we watched him get shot. We watched him go through legal hell. We watched them try to destroy his reputation, take away his money. We watched them go all out. We watched them try to start World War III, for God's sake. And you still think that somehow, not you guys, but in general, there's still people who think Trump's not on the right side of history. Are you kidding me? It's so insane. Like, step back and think logically for a second. The logic says Trump and them are actually going to see this through. That's what logic says. And P-brains out there on social media and stuff just see the very basic surface level stuff and they think they understand everything. It's insane to me. And also their opinions change wherever the wind blows. Drives me nuts. Let's read a little bit more of this. Bondi was registered under FARA for Qatar. Qatar funded Hamas, but why does the narrative stop there? Because this isn't about full transparency. It's about steering cognitive bias towards a predetermined conclusion. Bondi is compromised. This is a classic deep state play. Release partial truths to appear credible. Frame the story to push emotional reactions. Suppress broader context that dismantles the narrative. Oh, that's interesting. If this really was about transparency, these influencers would have been consistent. But where were they when Trump announced J.D. Vance as VP? Real concerns about Vance's technocrat ties were first raised, Peter Thiel Palantir. These same people wait until truth seekers surface the issue first and briefly mention weeks and months later. It's true. A lot of people were coming to me like, oh, Vance is tied to Palantir. It's like, dude, he had a job there. Okay? It doesn't mean he's Peter Thiel's stooge. But again, partial truths. This is what Whitney Webb does, and it drives me freaking bonkers. I'm sorry if you like Whitney Webb. Whitney Webb has never met a story or a person she didn't believe was evil down at the surface. That girl is so freaking black-pilled about everything. It's like, just watch her if you want to be depressed all the time, because if you watch Whitney Webb, you'll never believe that anything good could ever happen. And I'm sorry, like, I have trouble respecting people like that. It's easy and cheap to be negative all the time. It just is. It's much harder to find how things could be working out. It is. So anyways, that's how they do it. And now we're all seeing what Vance is doing and nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining. Does anybody at this point believe that Vance is still being controlled by Peter Thiel? You'd have to be an idiot. You'd have to be an absolute idiot. But there are people out there who do. There are people who do. The real goal, isolate Trump one ally at a time. This is what they did in the first administration. It was much easier because he didn't have a good team around him. But this is what they did. Think about at the end when everybody turned on Trump. Pence, Bill Barr, they all turned on him at the end. That's what they do. They isolate you so you can't get stuff done. And that's what they're doing to you right now if you're following at this and you're going after his people when it's still so freaking early. I've heard people calling for Bondi to already be removed. I'm like, are you serious? She's been there 3 weeks. It's asinine. It's like, do you even stop to think about yourself? Like what you're saying, how stupid it is. But they don't. They're just caught up in the emotion. And now everybody's like, Laura Loomer was blocked by Pam Bondi. Did you see how she was going after her? It's ridiculous. By the way, I think Laura Loomer is a shill. Just going to say it. She has some great information. She's dropped some great stories over the years, but I think that woman only cares about herself. I really do. And she's just going to do whatever it does to elevate her prestige. So this isn't about Bondi. It's a staged takedown of Trump's most critical allies. 1, force Bondi to resign, cutting off Kash Patel's support system. 2, turn the focus to Patel, destabilizing Trump's legal war chest. 3, weaken Trump before 24, removing his strongest warriors before the real fight begins. Final thought, watch, don't react emotionally. Should we question Bondi and others? Absolutely. Calling for resignations based on limited manipulated narratives is reckless, blah, blah, blah. Instead, analyze exits flow with controlled assets. Be mindful of who has your ear. It's 100% true, guys. 100% true. X is, like I said, there are so many controlled assets out there. You have to be careful. You have to be careful who you trust, you know? Verify then trust, you know, that's what I say. I know it's trust and verify, but listen, I will tell you guys that part of my research strategy over the years and why I've been proven right on a lot of stuff this last year. Okay. Especially on the political side of things. Why I keep being proven right is because I just know who to listen to. That's really what it comes down to. It's a skill come from time, like learning over time. I get tired of being wrong, so I stop listening to the people where I find out they're wrong all the time. That's one way you find the controlled assets. Now I know how to spot them because there's a lot of patterns. One of the patterns is emotional outbursts. That is one of the patterns, that they get all up in arms about everything and freak out. And when they do that, they're just, oh, I can't believe you did this. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Half truth, half truth, half truth. And all the people are like, oh my God, I feel that. Oh yeah, how dare they? It's playing to the emotions. It's the same thing the Democrats do. It is. It's the same thing the liberals do. And you're just falling for a psyop. You just are. So listen, could we be proven wrong on Bondi? Sure. Trump's not perfect. He's not God. I don't think he is. But I do think he's knows what he's doing. I think he's vested his trust. He's earned it from me. I'm going to trust Trump until I'm proven wrong. That's just how it's going to be. That's just how it's going to be. And I think I'm going to continue being proven right because it's steered me right so far. But is it possible he made one bad choice? Absolutely. And we'll watch and see. But is it early enough to make that determination? Hell flipping no. I'm sorry, it's not even close to make that determination. And everybody out there who is, they're just being a bunch of babies. They just want to get Epstein files right away. Do I get it? Do I understand it? Sure. Does it make sense though? Actually, if what we're really going after is the real deal, going to make this happen? No, it makes no sense. It makes more sense to do it right, to get it out over time and use it strategically, not just because X is calling for it. And I'm really glad we have a government that seems to understand that. So speaking of Elon and on Epstein real quick, if this is what I believe is going to happen, I have a feeling they have it all. They have all the information. They might not have the official papers, but I do believe they have all the information. In fact, Elon kind of hinted on it on the Rogan podcast that they have it all. The tech bros have it all. I really believe that what's going to start happening over the next few months is that even if they don't get the legal documents out, all the info is going to start being leaked online. That's what I think is going to happen. I think we're getting that information. I really do. I honestly don't even have a doubt about it. How we get it, that's what I don't know. But I think Elon hinted that the tech bros, they might be given the go-ahead to start releasing stuff over the next few weeks. And that might be how we end up getting some of the information until then the DOJ comes out and actually release it and says, hey, we are now we're going after these people. This is absolutely true. I think that could be how it goes down. So anyways, on that, let me look at some of these comments here, see if there's anything I need to answer. Lots of good comments. I'm not going to be able to answer all these tonight, guys. If you really had one you want me to answer, just go ahead and spam it back in there right now. So I know it's towards the end. Yeah, Huma Abedin's romantically involved with Alex Soros, George Soros' son. Isn't that crazy? Interesting. Huma Abedin, who's the most trusted advisor to Hillary Clinton for all these years, is now, I believe, marrying Alex Soros. So there you go right there. Whitey says, saw a picture of Bonnie with McCain. Listen, the Republican Party before Trump was just the Republican Party. So a lot of them hadn't been exposed yet. And a lot of them were it was just a good boy club, a good old boy club. And just because you were in the party and you might have gotten pictures with McCain or pictures with Romney, pictures with, somebody else out there that we all know is a chump at this point, Adam Kinzinger, it doesn't mean you're in on it with them. It's just like Trump's pictures with Epstein, guilt by association. That is not a thing. It's guilt by partnership. That's how you find out. And just the Republican Party is full of good people and swamp creatures. We've gotten rid of a lot of the swamp creatures. But at one point, if you're in power in the Republican Party, you were going to get a picture with McCain. It was inevitable. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Bongino comes in March. I think he's got 2 years. Alan says it takes time to build a good case. We want prison time. Amen on that. Amen on that. Laura Loomer's a crazy ex-girlfriend, never leave you alone. That is very true. Pam Bondi blocked Laura Loomer. It's unconstitutional. I don't think that's unconstitutional. Maybe it is, but Pam Bondi's not elected by the people. So I don't know if it's unconstitutional. Pam Bondi was chosen by Trump and elected by the Senate. Well, not elected, but confirmed by the Senate. So I don't know if that's unconstitutional. That'd be interesting to find out. Also, I highly doubt Pam Bondi's actually controlling her X feed. So it might have been a staffer. We'll see. Pam Bondi's 60 years old. I don't think she's tweeting on X all the time. just saying. Just saying. Drew says, I hear the mineral deal already was given to UK and he was trying to scam them. Finance? No. Let me see if I can find that real quick. That's interesting enough for me to look up if true. But that mineral deal, the UK, what good is that? The UK can't give them the money they need. That's kind of stupid. That doesn't even make sense. Let me see if I can find it here. All right, here we go. It says, apparently Zelensky agreed to a minerals deal with England back in January, but they didn't tell the U.S. Entire plan was to trick the U.S. into providing the military protection for something that had already been given away. Whoa. Okay, that's huge. If that's true, that's huge. Okay, that's going to be something we'll have to find out. Brett says, tinfoil hat theory. I wonder if this Epstein thing is still going on in terms of trafficking, especially since they've not been able to locate those 300,000 kids. That's interesting, Brett. I don't think those kids so much had to do with Epstein, but just the general trafficking and if you're asking, is all this trafficking stuff still going on? Yeah, it is. Is it led by Epstein or his people? Probably not. I think that's been busted and moved on from, but they definitely have more networks. I think it's much bigger than Epstein. I think there's 100 Epsteins, if not more. He was just the most prominent. So yeah, it's still going on. I do believe they found some of the kids so far, but I don't know the numbers on that. I kind of remember Homan saying something about it. So yeah, Twitter's not in the Constitution. Donkey said Starmer said $3 billion a year till 2030. Okay, so we've been sending on what, $75 billion a year, and UK is going to chip in $3 billion. Good luck. That's not going to do anything for them. So interesting stuff. Shogun says, do I think more info of Epstein will leak within the next 2 weeks or time frame? 2 weeks is tough. I don't know. I just think it's going to happen. I think it'll definitely be happening in the first half of this year, but 2 weeks, that's kind of short. So, hey, Albert Rivers, just in time for me to sign off. Anyways, please like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate it. And if you like this, and if you want to support the channel, become a member. It's $3 a month. You can get in the members' lives and also join the Discord, which I think the Discord is going to be hot this week because of all the crypto stuff. So it should be fun. Brett says in 94, we give a deal. If Russia and Ukraine denuclearize, we'd give the Ukraine protection. We do have a deal like that, but it's not set in stone how we'd protect them or anything like that. It's kind of more of a handshake deal, which now that it's been 30 years, I don't know if we have to stick with it. You know what I mean? So anyways, all right, guys, on that note, I'm going to pray and get out of here. I actually went almost an hour, so it turned into a regular live. How's that go? I will not be here tomorrow. Just FYI, my wife for Christmas got me a present, and my present is to go see my favorite basketball team, the Golden State Warriors, come to town to play the Charlotte Hornets. I'm going to be at that game watching Steph Curry hopefully hit 15 threes. So that was one of her Christmas presents to me. So I'm going to be gone tomorrow night. Sorry, you guys will be on your own, but let's just hope that nothing crazy happens. But I'll be back Tuesday and we'll have a regular week after that. All right. On that note, yeah, smash the like and subscribe, and let's pray and call it a night. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless these amazing people. And God bless our country. God, I pray we're right about this stuff with Trump and the team, that they truly are just running an amazing operation that is going to lead to victory. Give them wisdom and boldness to carry it out. I pray that, God, you give the people wisdom as they watch these things unfold, and help us know help us have discernment on who's telling the truth and who's not. when all this crazy information is going back and forth. So, but we thank you for what you've already done, all the miracles we've already seen in this administration politically so far this year. And we just pray for more. So bless our country, protect our leaders, and bless his people in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Love you guys. Again, like and subscribe, please, as I head out, and have a great Sunday. I'll see you all Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.